Afternoon, everybody. Let's give it about 3 to 5 more minutes and let others join. See if we're going to get any more people to join. So if you don't mind, if you hear an echo or if you can't hear me at all, or if you can hear me, maybe come off mute or possibly give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you aren't talking, or if you're not going to be talking, if you would look over at your computer, take the time and make sure that you have your microphone muted, unless you're going to ask a question or something like that. So give it about 4 or 5 more minutes and we'll get started. Thanks. Turn your microphone on. You can't hear me. Okay, everybody. I think everybody can hear me now. So, welcome. We'll keep omitting any other people that might join late. Again, if you hear any echoes or anything like that, please put it down there in the chat. If you have any questions, go to the chat or just chime in. If not, we'll just get started here. I've got a few things I want to, at this angle here, that I want to start off with. Thank you for joining us. This is our first internal class, something that we have every intention of doing probably every other week with new products, things like that. Purpose of this class is we need to understand the products we provide for our clients. And there, we have a lot of things out there, a lot of things on the shelf, a lot of things that just sit there because we basically might be afraid of it, or we just might not particularly know what all it's capable of or what it can do. And that's what I hope to eliminate with these classes, is just get some ideas of these products, and just help us to get more familiar with it. You know, we are important influencers to our contractors. So what we have, they have distribution available to them everywhere. So, you know, whether they go to Johnstone, where they come to us, or whatever. Hold on here. We got another admin. They have a lot of opportunity to see other brands, other products, other things. And they chose, for one thing, to come through our door. So to help us be more familiar with the products that we have on our shelf, you know, Dave and I want to take the time and help y'all out. And another good reason is, you know, we're able to help them if we understand the products that we're selling. We're able to help them with new install, repair, anything in those natures. Help them with understanding of the product. And then also that helps them to have more confidence with the product that they just bought, confidence in the product they just bought from us, and a better understanding of what they're selling and the features that they have, and things like that. So if you see me looking down, I apologize. I got a little outline here. I'm going to try to stick to it. We don't have a whole lot of time. I'm going to try to keep it somewhere around an hour. We might go over, might be a little bit under, depending on the questions, things like that. So with that being said, you know, by understanding our products, we personally look better, right? Because we seem to have the knowledge of what we're selling, things like that. We have the ability to help them replace, whether it be with the exact same or with something that we have on our shelf that will help them to go into that spot that might be even a different brand manufacturer that they've gotten from somewhere else. And understanding the product we have the ability to help them find something to fit in that slot, you know, that they didn't necessarily have to go back with the exact same thing, you know. So with these classes, my main intention is to actually stay away from equipment itself. We can do other things like that in the future if you guys want it. But the purpose of these classes, as of right now, is really to just product showcase. A lot of things that are on the shelf that are just sitting there, or things that we need to bring in, or things we need to understand if we don't really need these products. And that's what I hope to do with these classes. So the equipment side of it we won't necessarily dive into too deep, more like your Honeywell thermostats, tools, Calgon, you know, even refrigerants or duct parts, or, you know, things like that. So, and the other thing is, I need feedback. So when we're done here, I will probably email everybody a couple of things. One, a little bit of a questionnaire of how you thought this went, what can be improved, anything from time slot to how my hair was, anything, you know what I mean? So feedback is important. That helps me to be able to really give you guys what you feel like you really need or don't understand. And if you don't give me any feedback, I can't do that. So it'll be more of what Dave and I like instead of what you actually need. So also for some of you who don't know, we really started this a few months ago and it kind of died off. But with this series, because of job site visits and actual training at job sites or at contractors themselves, we have a YouTube channel, and I will send everybody a link to it. It's invite only, so it's basically for us internally and some of our contractors that we feel it would be beneficial if they knew about the channel. But these videos that Dave and I do, we're going to record them, and then we're also going to add them to that channel so that you can go back and maybe refresh or watch them or tell somebody about it that wasn't able to make it to these classes. So I will make sure everybody gets a link to that. I will also send out a list of, today our products are Fieldpiece and the JobLink app. So that's what we're going to talk about. If you saw it on the card before I started the video there. So what I'll do is I'm going to comprise a list of at least fundamental things that every branch should have at least one or two of, and that we really should be talking to our contractors about if they don't have it or if they need it, if we see the fit arise. It should be products that we really should be pushing. Fieldpiece has a complete line and a big line of a lot of things that don't even pertain to what we sell. So the list that I send out will be key things just so that these guys can really get the data they need. With that being said, we'll just get into why Fieldpiece today. And I want to start off with a quote. And I've got a lot of camera angles. I'm not always going to be sitting in this chair, but I just need to get I need to get this fundamental stuff out of the way, and then we'll get on to the products, and then we'll get on to the JobLink app. I actually have some tools connected to some equipment here in Owensboro that we'll be able to see in real time what's going on and what's going on in the app. So we'll get to that. But first, I want to start y'all off with a quote, and it's a very important quote. Dave and I heard it, and it really resonated for me, even though I have 25, 30 years in experience. Even talking with these guys out here today, this is a very important quote, and a lot of guys are just not doing it or really pushing it. And the quote goes, "If we do not have all the data, we are just guessing." Now, I know that sounds a little bit simple, but if you really stop and think about that, if we don't have all the data in our jobs that we're doing, all the information, then honestly, we're just guessing. Okay. Fieldpiece, which is one of the bigger lines that we carry for these types of data collecting tools. They're awesome. They have a lot. They have everything from combustion analyzers to scales to refrigerant scales to electric meters, all these things, so that we can actually gather the data we need ourselves and contractors to understand what's going on in a home or going on in a system, from manometers, from psychrometers to refrigerant gauges, temperature gauges, things like that. And the more data we get, the troubleshooting becomes a whole lot easier. I know with Dave and myself, the more data that a contractor is able to give us, it makes it a whole lot easier for us for us to guide them, direct them, or even solve a problem for them. And the more data that contractor has, the more confident and the better the ability he'll be able to come in and say, "Hey, this is the part I need," or "This is the tool that I need." And this kind of information and understanding these tools, you'll be able to somewhat help him, and hopefully, and be able to talk a little bit of his language, saying, "Hey, did you use this, or did you try this? Are you sure it's that pressure switch, or whatever it might be?" And that's what I hope to do with these classes, is to inform us and help us understand the products that we're selling. So let me look over here again. So today is a strong overview of Fieldpiece. And we can do classes on individual components, individual pieces of Fieldpiece if people need it. And we'd be more than happy to do that. internally or even with the contractor. So again, feedback, don't be afraid to email us or let us know, and we can get even more in depth. Today, I want to do a strong overview of some of the things that I feel like we should be pushing hard, and then focus a lot more on the job app, the JobLink app, which will be key. So with that, we'll get into it. Any questions at this point? If not, I'm going to change my camera view, and we'll kind of go through some of these equipment pieces or tools that we have in front of us, and I'll talk a little bit about them, and then we'll move into the JobLink, and then we'll go from there. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat or unmute yourself. But so we'll get started. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Let me stand up here. Get this chair out of the way. So some of the products now, me personally, I use the complete Bluetooth kit. I apologize because I have the kit out there. The model number of this kit is escaping me, but it has the psychrometers. A lot of you guys seen it. You have it at yourselves. It has the temp gauge. That's what's going on. That's what's on the equipment in Owensboro now, so that when we get into the JobLink app, we'll be able to see the real-time information. So this is empty, but this is a key kit for for a lot of those guys that don't necessarily have to do the install or add refrigerant, things like that. This is for your service guy that might be the guy that goes out there and does mostly diagnosing, things like that. But another thing that I want to get to is it's not my realm to talk price. All right. And since this is internal, UTMs, things like that, that'll be your conversations with your contractors, the price of it. Yes, I know this isn't cheap, but once we learn these kits and learn these tools and how they benefit and how they work and how they benefit, that'll be helpful when you're talking to your contractors about, test those other brands. They're right in the same price range as Fieldpiece. It's just hard to get the guys to understand that they need this equipment. With the equipment we have nowadays, the data that we collect, your old analog gauges, your old meters, things like that, they're just not going to be accurate, and we need to be accurate these days with these new efficiencies and the tolerances that this new equipment has. So it is key that, we really need to talk to our contractors about, hey, we need to step up and we need to find a better way for our data collection. And Fieldpiece is a good product to do that. They go everything. I don't know if y'all can see it. Outstanding vacuum pumps that we can get into that have those. These gauges here, which are the 480V. They all these pieces up here will communicate with the JobLink app. But for your everyday service guy or even your installer, the basic gauges that a lot of them will be using. This is the I believe the 380. No, this is the 480 also, but this is a very good gauge set. It has the temperature probes. It has the ability for the vacuum pump, that kind of stuff. So these are some of the things that the digital scale, which I have over on the other table, because I'm going to show you in the JobLink how to connect that, but I'll show you that product. There's the box for it. The multimeter that connects with JobLink for electrical data collection, things like that. That's key. My apologies. We got people still wanting to come in. So, and then also, Dave and I have had a really good class with Fieldpiece for ourselves, learning about the combustion analyzer. That's something that I'm going to probably, or Dave's probably going to do for you guys as a separate thing. That's something that we really need to be utilizing, and the contractors really need to be utilizing for understanding and troubleshooting and things like that. So here is just a quick overview of some of the basic fundamental Fieldpiece items that these guys really should have on their vans. When they get to the job site, all these pieces here are going to give them the ability to diagnose, service, and data collect, so that they can troubleshoot what's going on and find out what's going on. Not to mention your installers need these fundamental devices just to get the install proper and get the equipment set up properly and all that. So look over through these, and what I'll do is, again, is I'm going to put a list together for you guys, and you can look over and see if that's something you already stocked. And another thing with this class, I know a lot of you've been out in the field. I know a lot of you've been in this business for a lot of years. If anything, take this as a refresher, some things that you might not have thought about. But look over and, make sure our branches have this available to our contractors, because this is essential equipment, and Fieldpiece does a good job. They have really good, believe it or not, they have a really good warranty. Back when I was in the field, I had a set of these gauges here. The LED stopped working. I sent it in. I think the only thing I had to pay was maybe freight, and they literally just sent me a new thing, a new gauge set. You know what I mean? So Fieldpiece is really good to work with. We've met some of the people at Fieldpiece. We've met people in their technical department, to their engineering department, and even in their sales, and they are really good to deal with. So every time that I've tried to contact, I've gotten contact back. Again, I apologize. We're getting more people admitted here. So with that being said, Fieldpiece is really easy to work with. When you have, I had another thing that I wrote here that I want to look at. I apologize. Let me look over my notes. When we understand what we're selling, and we understand the features that these things have and that they're able to do, each and every one, and we take the time to research it ourselves, and we start talking to our contractor, and they throw out there that price aspect, when we can start explaining why this is a superior product and what we like about it, it builds confidence in them, it builds confidence in us. And believe it or not, a lot of times that price becomes not the biggest issue anymore. It starts to fall down just a little bit, because they start understanding and seeing why we need that. So again, if you have this already in your branch, take the time, look it over, read a little bit about it, call and ask questions about it, anything that you want to do there, and I'll help you with it. But again, just be familiar with your equipment, and be familiar with what you're selling, and it'll really help us, build that confidence in ourselves and with our contractors. So with that being said, is there any questions about anything particular that you might see on the table itself? Or the only thing that you won't see up here is, and that's because I don't have one yet, and the one I had ended up selling, so I haven't found one from another branch. But the only thing that's not up here is a dual port manometer, which is absolutely key from gas pressures, all those kinds of things. So you won't see that up here. But if there's anything up here that anybody has a question about, we'll take a pause or take a second. If anybody has a question, feel free to come off mute or put it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And okay, I don't no questions, I guess. Nothing. Okay. So, and if I'm going too fast, slow me down, you know what I mean? So I'll get better at this as we go along too, and these classes will get a little bit more informative and a little bit better as time goes on. But this is, I really felt like we needed to start with the Fieldpiece aspect of it. So again, all these equipments out here, you'll see if they're JobLink capable, you'll see the little JobLink app on insignia on the box. If they don't have that JobLink app, that means they're not JobLink compatible. So remember that when you're talking about JobLink and you want to give them something, make sure you are giving them something that is JobLink compatible. So you will see, we sell a lot of thermometers, even psychrometers and things, and electric meters that are not JobLink, and they're great equipment. But with today, we're fixing to go into the JobLink app side of it. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. You know, take the time to look over the box and make sure that that JobLink symbol is there. So with that being said, I'm gonna share my screen here, and we're gonna get started. Again, if there isn't any questions as of right now, we're going to get, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started on the JobLink app itself. So let me do that real quick. Let's see here. All right. So okay. What you're looking at now is the screen of my iPad. So when I go to a job site, a lot of people like to use their phone. Some people like laptops, things like that. I have found that excuse me here real quick. I have found that for me, the iPad seems to be the better tool. And with that being said, but you can get this on your phone. I have the JobLink app on my laptop also. And then I'm not for sure, but I think they have a desktop version also. I think it's just web-based that you can also use it for a desktop computer. So JobLink has the ability to go across a lot of platforms there. But today I'll be using my iPad. So what we'll do is the first thing you want to do is you'll want to go to your app or Android device, and you want to download the JobLink app. And when you first download it, which I've already got the app downloaded, but when you first download it, you'll want to sign up. You put your email, all that kind of things. Now, JobLink has 3 different tiers. It has a free version. It has a mid-tier version, and then it has a premium version. The only difference between the mid-tier and the premium version, of my understanding, is the JobLink has the ability to do invoicing and statements. Okay. So for a company that doesn't maybe use ServiceTitan, or they're smaller, JobLink is also a good platform that they can pay yearly or monthly, and they can also do all their invoicing and statements through this. But at the moment, I have the mid-tier because I really don't need to do any invoicing or anything like that. So once you've got it downloaded, and once you've got it signed up like any other app, we'll go ahead and we'll click on the JobLink app, which it's next to the My Root app there over on the right. I'll click on it, and let me go back real quick because I was setting up my tools. So let me go back. And when you first click into it, you're going to come to this page. Now we're talking about the JobLink app. So this is the page here, which is like the main menu. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see measurements, which is where we go to connect our tools, things like that, where we take our measurements, all that kind of stuff. Then you're going to see a customer tab, which I'm going to click on. Anytime you go to a job site or you get something started, you can input contractors. Down here at the bottom right, you'll see a little like driver's license card in a circle with a plus symbol. You can press on that, and you can start making lists of customers in there, so that you can start, if a contractor goes to this quite often, every time they're there, they can always go back to this tab, and the data before and the data new, it will always be filed there. It's a good place. Like when I go to job site visits, but today I just had because of my iPad, I just had the Schwartz HVAC up there. But anytime I deal with Schwartz, I can press on their tab. If I have to go to one of their job sites, any measurements I take, all that will populate there under their customer name. So again, invoices below customers. Then you also have a Teams tab. What Teams is, without getting too far into it, Teams is where if contractor gets Fieldpiece products and they start subscribing to the app. They're not using the free version. If they go to the mid-tier, they can set up their service guys as part of their team. All right. And this allows them to be able to communicate real time with each other. It allows them to, inside this team, that allows that, let's say we have a service supervisor that's in the office most of the time. Well, we have a serviceman out at the job site and they've got their equipment hooked up. The teams aspect of it allows them to go in there when they set up their teams and allows them to see what that serviceman is doing real time for that guy in the office. So it's basically like our Teams app that we use here at Benoist, but it's Fieldpiece's version of it, if that makes sense. So, and then to the right of that, you also have a More tab, which I'll go ahead and click on. And in the More app, you're going to see another menu of features. At the top there, you got your JobLink account. That's where you go in. You'll find your personal info, things like that, what subscription you have, all that kind of stuff. Down below that, you have a product videos. Fieldpiece has a great selection of product videos. So let's say a serviceman gets a new JobLink tool. He doesn't know a lot about it. If he has the JobLink app, he can go to product videos and find a tutorial on that tool. If you have one, you can get in there and show this contractor, this video tutorial, things like that. Then right below that, you have support with Fieldpiece, phone support that you can press on that tab, get a number, or you can call them directly through that if you're using your phone. And then to the right, you have Fieldpiece University. Now, that's something that I'm diving into and learning a little bit more about, but these are actual really classroom settings on things like anything from static pressure to refrigerant charging, things like that Fieldpiece puts on using their tools. But that's a good place for that new service guy to go and learn some of these fundamental traits or learn how to really use a combustion analyzer. They have really good classes inside there. And then right below that, the support email tab, you can also email their support through that tab. And then your unit settings, if you're Canadian or something like that, we can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius, pounds to kilograms, things like that. So you can set up your JobLink app to give you the data in the way that you want to read it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the main menu when you first pull the JobLink app up, and we're going to go to measurements. And this is going to just be a brief overview of some of the information that you can find in real time about the measurements and the tools that we're using. Again, I said I was using this kit here with this kit here, and with that kit, I already have my devices pretty much out on the equipment. So I'll click on the measurement tab now. So when you pick on the measurement tab, what you're going to see up at the top is you're going to see a lightning bolt. You're going to see the thermometer. You're going to see a download tab, or I'm sorry, a scale tab, and then the combustion analyzer all the way to the right. That's the flame there. We'll do a separate class on that one. Right now, I'm in the temperature area of it. If I wanted to go to electrical, I could link a tool, and we could link a tool, and we could see what that amp meter or voltages or whatever. We could see it right there. And we'll go back this again. So now I'm back to the temperature side of it. We have the ability to link our manometer pressure up there at the top. We have the ability to hook our air side. capacity side into it. We can enter our CFMs and tell what mode the system in. Then we have our air side. These are the wireless psychrometers that I have. I actually have one in the return here in Owensboro and one in the supply. You can see there that we've got a dry bulb temperature settings. We can see wet bulb, relative humidity from the supply and to the return. We can even do dew point, and we can even do empathy. With that information that we have and that we've got, we can even the app already calculates our delta T for us. So and again, I've gone really kind of in depth. Any questions so far on the first pages that I showed you to this point? Anybody have any questions? I get to talking, I get on a roll, and sometimes you have to remind me to slow down or answer the questions. I don't see anything in the chat and nobody's popping up. Good deal. Well, we'll move on to the next. Down on the next tools, you'll see the refrigerant side. So I have basically, simply, if you guys can see me in your little thumbnails, I'm holding up the gauges here. I have basically the same thing as this, but without the hoses. I have the small tools that come in that bag that I showed you there. They're already hooked up to the refrigerant side. So that's how, and connected to my iPad. So that's how we're seeing those measurements there. We can see our suction, our liquid. We can see our temperature at our suction. The battery's gone. Looks like, or I've lost Bluetooth to my liquid temperature probe, but we can see vapor saturation. We can put in what type of refrigerant, all that kind of stuff. And then if we scroll down even more, we've got more charts here. Air diagnosis. It's telling us what it believes our dry bulb is and our target dry bulb. We can do refrigerant diagnosis, which we can put in our target superheat. Hold on just a second. We have another one here. Let's see. We can enter our target's superheat. We can enter our target subcooling, and we can even put another psychrometer outside to get our outdoor dry bulb if need be. So there's a lot of good information, and what we can do with this information, I'm going to show you here shortly. But the next thing I'm going to go to is I've got a scale set up here. So let me see how we can do this. So I'm going to change the camera angle. If you look over into your thumbnails there, I still want to keep my screen share up, but I'm going to change my camera angle in my thumbnail there so that you can see possibly. Yeah, good. So most of you should be able to see in that thumbnail. You should be able to see from that camera angle that I've got the JobLink weight or the scale there. And I'm going to show you how we're going to connect that scale to the shared screen there, and how simple it is. So what we'll do is, if you have the scale itself has a little power on button. Everything has batteries, and so we'll turn that on, and then we'll turn the we'll turn it on. We'll turn everything on. And now that we have everything on, what we'll do is we'll go back to our phone or our iPad, and we will press link tool. And we'll see there any tool. So if you have multiple scales, you'll see a list of all those scales down through there. And by serial number of this scale, which is, or ID over to the right, I can tell that this is the scale that I'm using. All I have to do is press there, and now we are linked to our iPad or to our phone, and that goes with all the JobLink capable equipment. So the equipment that I have outside, all of them have that button that once you turn them on, they're broadcasting Bluetooth, and all we have to do is go to that desired tool and press link tool, and it happens that quick. I will tell you this much: I am in a metal building. I'm in the branch in Owensboro. The equipment is probably, I would say probably about 35, possibly 40 feet away from me at the moment, inside the metal building and several rooms deep. And I'm still able to connect to the Bluetooth. So a lot of your Testos and other equipment out there have to have direct line of sight to connect their equipment. Fieldpiece's Bluetooth is pretty strong. So to be that far away is, if you were here with me to understand how far away I am from my equipment, that's a pretty strong Bluetooth. So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to zero out our scale. There we go. Okay. Now, with that being said, we have the ability to change our units here, okay, to whatever we desire that we would like to have. We'll just keep it on the regular pounds. I'm going to zero it out in the app. It's going to give me an alert. Are you sure? Just in case. And yes, we are. And then I have if you can see in that thumbnail, I have a new tank of Freon to the right. I'm going to set it on the scale, and we can see in real time the measurements that are taken are actually going from the scale to the JobLink app. So that's really good. That's really important. When the guys out there are doing their charge, they have everything right in front of them, and with the ability of the teams, you know, if you have a service, if you have a large contracting company that, you know, they tend to have that one guy that really needs to see the information real time, even though he can't be at the job or he can't be on the roof because he's working on something else. This is a great way for them to see what's going on, what's being put in, and we'll go back to the measurements end of it. And that person at the equipment themselves or somebody in a remote location can see the information there. We're still seeing our refrigerant, our suction side, and we can go back to weight and we can see what's on our scale. We can calculate how much we've put in, those types of things. So now, the next great part about this app that I just absolutely love. So when I go to job sites, as of right now, I haven't created a lot of contractors. I use Apple Notes, but if you'll look down to the right there, you'll see a yellow circle with 3 dots in it. If I press on that, that's going to give us the ability to do a lot of things. It's going to be able to, we can set up a logging with this. So with the JobLink app, we can log our information if we need to go away from the job site, if we're pulling a vacuum, and or we just want to watch this equipment run. We can leave our equipment hooked to it, and through the app we can log that data through that time. I won't really go into depth too much on that because, again, you guys are internal, but to be able to talk about to your contractor that Fieldpiece and JobLink does have the ability to log their and for certain amount of time frames. That's a key feature that you can really talk about the Fieldpiece. But what I enjoy the most, let me switch my camera back so that you can possibly still see me here. Let's see. Okay, there's my ugly mug. So one of the features of the JobLink that I use quite often and that I actually really love is once we gather all this information and we've got it on our JobLink, this is a key feature because it does a lot of things. But for me, it allows me, for every job site visit that I go to, I have the ability to save the information from when I was there, whether it been 2 years ago, whatever. All this information that I have there, I can go down to this create PDF. And if I press on that, you're going to come up with this screen here. You have the ability where it says notes. We can type in the date. which I'll do. Let's see. We'll click on it. I'll type in the date, which is something that I formerly do a lot of. I will make sure I always have the date that I was there. Then I can do anything like put the address or the job name. We'll just call it Benoist Training. And then I can also, if I want to, I can put the address, any type of notes that I need to go with this equipment. I can put it in there. So let me see if I can get. All right. Now, once I've got my notes in there, then I can push the create aspect of it. And what we're doing now is everything that we've done there, we're creating a PDF of all that. And if you'll look there, and I know for you guys internally and for the TMs and stuff, I know this is more of the contractor side of it or the information, but you understanding and having the ability to know that they can do this is a real help in the key of selling it and showing them why this is important and what the benefits of using Fieldpiece over maybe some others are, because Fieldpiece really takes the time. It gets really informative. We've got on the air side, refrigerant side, we've got everything from the date to the time, what that suction pressure was when we finished. We even got the target superheat, the suction line temperature, a lot of information that Dave and I personally need, and even just general servicemen need available to them. One of the reasons why then with this PDF, what I can do, since I use Apple, down there at the bottom, we have an upload tab, which I won't push, but it just means I can text it to someone, I can email it to someone, or I can send it somewheres in my device. If I create a folder or if I create a folder in notes or whatever, it will automatically do with whatever I need it to do. A lot of times why this is good for the contractor that's out in the field is if when you're there, you can do a couple of things. You can send it back to the office so that they can file it or save it, but you can also email it to your customer. The contractor can email it to their customer, and they have the ability to say, hey, when I left there, here's what the equipment was doing. Here's what we noticed. And we can also decide, hey, maybe do we need to look at improving ductwork, or do we need to improve other things that will help with these numbers? So it's a real good selling point for that contractor, having this information in front of them. So, and then also, but for like Dave and myself, again, I can put this in my contractor notes, and I can label it. When I have the address down there, I can label it, and I can look back under that contractor and say, hey, I was at this address. We were just there. We just did this not too long ago. Here's the numbers we're reading. Let's look at trying something different. You know what I mean? Well, with the data that we have, again, back to that quote, if we don't have all the data, we're just guessing, right? So, and here with the Fieldpiece tools, we're able to gather all that data. So that's basically, again, I've lost my tools are starting to shut down because they've been on for so long. But again, we'll just show you the weight tab, the tanks on the scale. We have the ability to do, we can even do combustion. If I link the tool, look at all the information that we can gather there. And then once we link the tool, we can do a job report on that combustion analyzer. And then we can even get into the electrical with our amp meters, things like that. So with that, that's, let me stop sharing. And let's go back to, let's change my camera angle here. So with that, I know that was we're about 50 minutes in. I know that was again, that was a very broad overview. but I do feel like it was somewhat informative. I hope it generates questions for you guys. I hope you take the time to talk to me and to Dave and I about any questions you have, anything like that. Again, I'll also I will send you a link of this video to the YouTube channel, and I will also send you what a fundamental list that I feel like, you guys can check over your branch and make sure that you have a lot of these tools into play. If any of you guys talk to any of your contractors and they want a more in-depth on individual tools or the apps or anything like that, get with Dave or myself. I know I'm going to be doing some for Ricky and a couple of his guys down in Paducah here shortly. We're actually going to go to them. We're going to show them all the tools, how to use them. They're already in a process of purchasing from us, and I'm going to go down and show them how to use the tools properly, how to get them set up in the JobLink, which a lot of this video didn't show, but Dave and I are available to do that for contractors. If you have them asking questions, if we're in your branch or need to come to your branch or whatever, let us know. But I will have a fundamental sheet of things that you guys can look over your branch and make sure that you have in Fieldpiece, and any new products, we'll make sure we'll update and make sure that you guys have those. Is there any questions on Fieldpiece itself or JobLink? You guys are awful quiet. I can't believe there's not a question or two out there. But with that being said, though, I'll go to the next thing is feedback. You guys got, you have my email address, you have my phone number. Please take the time and give me feedback about the class if you thought this was worth it. With that, how you'd like to see it go forward. I hope to improve the little studio area here. And I also hope to go to each branch and do some of these videos at each branch. I know as for what I have planned now, I want to talk about the Honeywell thermostat line would probably be my next video or my next training class. We'll get into the overview of the T series and the 8000s, things like that. Thermostats that guys are buying when they're not using the Econet, things like that. That is my plan to do my next class on that one. So where and when, it'll probably be not next week, but the week after that. We'll probably try to hit you guys every other week. I know this 50 minutes or this hour, you could have been using it somewhere else in the branch. So I really appreciate that you took the time to listen in or watch. So with that being said, feedback is real important. So don't be afraid, no judgment in it. If you didn't like something, or if you think you'd like something else, please, guys, speak up, because I'm going to continue to do these and I'm going to continue to send them out. So if you would like to see it in another way, or if you'd like to add to it, I can't know that without Dave and I getting feedback from y'all. So that wraps that up. Again, I'm going to ask for questions if we have any. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. We'll give you a few minutes for that end of it. Wow, you guys are quiet. So with that being said, I will end it here. I will stay on for just a few minutes. If some of you guys want to stay behind and say or do anything, I'll keep the meeting open for about another 3 to 5 minutes, just in case anybody has something they want to ask away from others. But if not, with that being said, thank you very much. That's our first internal training, and they'll only get better and they'll only get more informative. So if you like it, let me know. If not, tell Dave. So we'll go from there. So anyways, thank you guys. We appreciate it. That ought to do it.
Thanks, Chris.
Yes, sir, Dave. Thank you.
Chris, it's Larry. You did a great job. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. Like I said, I know you'll do it. if you don't mind, type me out an email and give me some feedback on some things that, should I have been a little bit more specific on things, or should I, you know what I mean, Larry? If you get some free time, shoot me an email, tell me what you think. And, that way I can make these better and more informative and not so boring for the guys, because they really are giving up their time. So, if you don't mind, shoot me an email.
Will do. Thanks, Chris.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, again, thanks a lot, guys. I'll end it there. We'll see you in a couple weeks.